Hi, it's Jez from Nigezza Creates. Thank you for joining me today. So I have been sat here all day doing all sorts of rubbish, not really doing anything productive, struggling a bit at times, and I've got to do a couple of collaboration projects, and I was just aware of the fact that I keep doing these and I make lovely things and then I don't do anything with them. So I thought I'm just going to put a quick journal together for putting in things that I make for collaborations or design team projects that aren't necessarily for a particular journal, so that I've got somewhere to park them really, and maybe a bit of inspiration and to remind me of what I've done. So I've just put together, I just grabbed lots of different paper that I've got that I can use as journal pages, and thought, let's put together some signatures, and maybe this might help people who sort of struggle to get started. I see that a lot in some groups. I just struggle to get started. So I've got some tea dyed paper here. I just picked off a couple of sheets because they're always handy to have in. These, by the feel of it, are just copier paper as opposed to slightly thicker, but that's okay. So these are standard UK A4 sheets, and I thought these are handy to be able to use as a template to know how to cut my paper down. I've got, this is a sheet from a beautiful botanical book. This is from the Victorian Flower album. Been looking for it for ages, and I saw two like within days of each other, which, you know, that is just typical. I've got some Braille paper here. I often tea dye this because I don't like white, but there's a bit of me that thinks, why not, Jez, bung it in. This is a ledger from the 1950s. It was plain when I bought it. This is one from about 1900, nothing written on it. This is an old notebook. I think this was one that I probably used in my teaching. This is some lovely tobacco paper. I've got an address book here. This has got a lovely sort of Chinese script in it. Liked that. Good old Edith. Got to have a bit of Edith. This is from a Stout book that I recently bought, and I discovered when I thought, oh, I want one of the pages from it that's got nothing in it, and I like it because it's plain on the back. And I was about to rip it out, and I realised that it's like that there are loose leaves in it, and I was able to extract it quite easily. Here we've got a rather large map page. This is from an 1800 and something big Bible, some vintage music, and this is my ledger that is from 1859, it says there. So these are just what I thought I'd collect together, and obviously I've got the tea dyed paper. So let's start with getting this to be the right size. So we'll take this sheet here, and I'm going to take my piece of A4 so that I've got that as my template for what I want. So I could in fact fold this up and form a pocket, which is always a good thing to do. So I'm gonna where's my ruler? Use my ruler along there as a guide. Folding this. There we go. So now I can see where I folded, and let's just fold it along. Now we'll fold it in half. There's a bit of me actually, I quite like that mucky end. So what I might do is take a bit off the end here. So it might come in a tad because you often lose the end of a sheet. So if we come in a tad, we'll keep that lovely end. So stick that in there. Then we've got our first page, and that is, that's fabulous. So then I'm creating a pocket. So if in my collaborations I make tags or whatever, then I've got pockets stuck them in. So that's that. I might create a pocket again with one of these. Though it's not a massive pocket. So maybe what I'll do is a side tuck, actually. So I might come in like that. I like pages that are different sizes. They don't all have to be A4 wide. I think it gives your journals quite a nice look if they're different sizes. So let's take that bit off there. So then we've got a fold out with a flip, or it could be a pocket. We've got ourselves a map page here. I'm gonna rip that down. So I'm going to take that off the end there a little bit neater. But I'm not really giving too much thought to what I'm doing, which I think is often a good way. I also can't give anything too much thought, but I was trying to describe how I was feeling just earlier, and it was just my heart hurts. That's what I came up with. That's how I'm feeling. So, there we go. I don't mind that some of the pages are a little bit bent. I think that's perfectly fine. Yeah. How is this looking? Oh, that is, oh, it's a tad too long. So I'll just take very small smidge. I think that's a beautiful colour for a page there. Oh, we have the lovely Edith. So I'm going to use my trimmer on this because Edith paper is a little bit a little bit thicker, and I don't want to spoil it. Now, you still need a bit more off there, Jess. Yeah, you do. Right, I'm going to have to come under that 17. I'm going to have to go to about there. You're not going to see that at all, Jess. About there. Yeah, that'll do nicely. So, I think it would be useful if throw these scraps out if one of my pieces of A4 is in fact folded in half, so I can see where the halfway mark is. So what I think I might do going to do a little bit under there, and do that. Fluffed. I did a little bit of a fluff up then. I've decided that I don't like that bit. Where's me? I'm looking for my decal edge. There it is. I'm going to cut it off. Cut it off on the decal edge. So we've got a nice edge. That'll be fine. And I might even decal edge the bottom a bit. And maybe the top. Yep, we'll do that. I might do that again. Fold that back. Nice to have a flip, large bit of journaling. Do the same on this side. little bit bigger than A4. I'm going to cut it in half, fold it in half. And I'm just going to take that top off with the decal edge. A nice page there. I had already cut that down to be the right size. That's a nice edge in, maybe for a pocket. Stick another folio there. I can choose to keep these or get rid of them at a later date. You can't stick it back on, but you can take more off. That in half. I of course may not use all of these, but I think it's quite good to have plenty sort of ready for whatever I may want to do. Rip this one out really badly out of the book. That's okay. We are actually, yeah, a little bit too long there. Right, so I can come down a little bit more off this. I actually like the fact that it's the edge there, so I might just take a bit more off here. Probably taking more than I need. Well, so probably about it you are, Des. There we go. And I have, yes, lots and lots of vintage and antique paper here, but you don't have to. If you haven't got any, use what you got. Use what you got. I think this is A4, so I could just fold it in half as it is. I like the top. Yep, that'll do nicely. We have this book here, I think. We're aiming for the top. Yeah, so I'm just, one of these is a page. And a very pretty page at that. So it's nice to have. I mean, if you're using digitals, then this could be a digital page. I'm trying to make it without digitals. And then I have this, so I quite like that we can, I think what I do is I can fold this in half now, so we're going to make this across there on A4, so that will be about there. I am just gonna put a pencil mark there. That is where I want to cut it down. I'm gonna need my big one, I think, for this. Don't think I can quite fit that in my new mini. Well, it's not that mini, but it's like the smaller. Oh, everything goes. Everything going, gone. There we go. And I'm going to do another big side. I can choose to do it this way or not at a later date. And that is all my paper. So I'm just going to, I might get some thicker tea dyed actually, so let's just use what I've got for that moment. So we've got, these would be probably nice on the outside, and then I might want, yeah, might want that. Right, so I'm gonna have to go, so we'll finish that later. Okay, I'm back. We've been out for a walk and I got 2 thicker sheets of tea dyed paper. This is the 120 GSM. It's just, I just feel if you're going to use it for attaching pockets and things, but the thicker's better than the thinner. So where were we with this? So let's stick maybe a map page, and then maybe one of them. Might do music page with a bit of a flippy pocket. Let's have that. Maybe we'll have a bit of Edith now. That. So I'm not sure that I need all of the sheets that I have put in here. It's looking like a little bit chunky. And we've got quite a lot going on here. So what have we got here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16, which is quite a lot really for a single signature. I might get the other one of this and actually turn this into 2 signatures. But that is simply how I'm putting together the journaling pages, and obviously we're going to decorate the pages and add things and decide what we're doing with these, whether they're going to get cut off or not. But those are decisions I'm going to make at a later date. I just wanted to have something that I could quickly put together, and I might just keep one of these signatures. I might bulldog clip it and have this as a ready-made signature when I'm putting together a journal. And we'll just have this for the purposes of what I'm doing in terms of making something with collaboration things, because there's probably one signature is probably enough for what I'm doing. So I'm just going to have a look and see if I've got something that I can make a quick little cover out of. Okay, so I looked on my floor and I found this Amazon envelope. So it's quite a large one. I've fancied doing something with it for a while. It seems to fit quite well. It's obviously too tall, but yeah, I think this will be a nice size. It's double. I'll use it as it is, and my thoughts are I'm going to cover both sides with fabric. So I'm just going to glue down all the sort of the loose bits. I'm not doing it with too much care. Maybe if I was going to make this for somebody else, then I might do a little bit more care over it, but I am literally chucking this together. So yeah, so I'm just sticking it down, just to hold it in place really, and so that it's sort of secure and ready to be covered. So finding all of those bits, rubbing off the excess, and just giving it another good fold. I now can't remember what I did next, so there we go. Give it a good burnish down the middle, and then am I making another crease right now, or am I going to make it smaller? No, I am going to make another crease. So I thought, to give myself a little bit of a spine, I always like to fold either side of the spine fold, if you like. I'm just doing this by eye, and that kind of didn't fold as well as I'd liked, and then I fluffed it up. But yeah, so I'm just giving it a good old burnish there to give myself that little bit of a gusset there at the end. So now we need to double check on it, and we'll need to mark where we want to cut it down. So I'm just going to use a pencil there, and then cut it down. I do actually have a little bit of trouble here with the trimmer. It didn't cut it very well, probably my fault. I was at the end. The end is quite a lot of layers, and it wasn't really liking it, as you will see. And by the time I do manage to get it cut through, tint very straight. As you can see, it's moving there, Jez. I can see it plain as day now. And so I then have to think again, and I'm going to have to square it off with a knife. So yeah, let's find me cutting mat. Let's get me knife. Can I find my ruler that I want to protect my fingers with? And the answer is no. So I find another one instead. But yeah, so there's me trying to get it all straight. Glasses would help. These are new glasses. I actually got prescription glasses. I thought it was about blooming time that I actually bought some decent glasses, and then I might actually see a little bit better. So this is a little bit of a thicker ruler, so I think my fingers might be safe. And look, you can see how not straight that end was. So so yeah, a few strokes, and that's it. Much better. So let's get my signature and suss out how's it looking. And I decided it's actually too wide, isn't it? It's too wide, so I want to cut it down again. So let's place you back on the mat. Let's have a little look-see. Let's get my ruler and work out with the lines on the mat where we actually want to cut it down. So having decided on that, and you can see that's not straight either. So yeah, so we're going to have a lot of open ends that I actually need to deal with, but that's not a problem. That's what glue's for, really. Oh, and I fluffed that up. It's not a good day. It's not a good day for me. I have I've swung from feeling not very good, feeling even worse, to be fair. So there you can see it is well open. Now I could put glue all over it, and then that would give it extra strength, but I don't want to. I want a bit of a crinkle. I like the crinkly sound that you get. So that's why I've decided that I'm not gluing it all the way down. So it's kind of a sort of softish cover. So I'm just going around the edges. I do open it up eventually. I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place. I don't know why I've kept it folded, but I say I'm not. My brain's just doing what it can at the moment. So there we go. I'm sure everybody has off days. I'm just having, yeah, I'll have quite a lot of them. So then there's that bottom gusset. So that needs a good glue down as well. So that should be it all done, really. So just looking for any bits that aren't quite glued. I mean, it is gonna, my intention is to sew on the fabric. So let's have a little look, see. Yep, liking that. It is a good size. So now I need to think about the fabric. So I've got this scarf. I've used this before for a journal cover. I really like it. I've got a pillowcase there. It's brand new. I got it from charity shop. I'm not going to use the nice bit. I'll save that for another project, but I'll use the plain bit on the inside. So I'm going to just cut up what I need to cover the journal. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a rip. I'm not too bothered about it being really neat at all. So we're just going to do a little bit of a measure to cut it down to the correct size, and then I'll just rip it. You can't see that on camera because I'm slightly off of camera, but I'm ripping that all the way down, and then I basically need to cut it in half. I do attempt to rip it the other way, forgetting that you can only really rip fabric in one direction, but hey ho. As I said, brain is not firing properly, and so yeah, it took me a while to sort of work that out a little bit. So now I just cut it down. So with my big scissors, not the best scissors, but they are the ones that came to hand. My best scissors are in the other room, and I haven't brought them in. I was using them for something else. I do explain that actually, because I did film this so that I could tell you what I was doing, but then it was just too long. So I thought I'll double speed it and do a voiceover. So that is looking about right. And so I was just distracted there. A message came up on my phone. So yeah, so I'm just going to cut a little bit down the other side to neaten that off. And I was sort of deciding, I didn't want to glue it all down because I quite like the cover sort of moving a tad, but I do decide to glue it up the spine so that it is held in place there. I thought that would be sensible and make it easier to actually sew it as well. So I was like checking which was the right side and which was the wrong side. I think there is one, and I think it might be the other way, but I quite prefer that colour, the stronger blue on the outside than the other way. So yeah, that was my decision. No right and wrongs. It is, you just do your own thing, don't you? So yeah, giving that a good press down, and then I do believe we're coming up to the point where I do run out of storage on my phone. So it is going to end in a minute, and then I'll start it again. So I am just here working out that's what I was working out. I'm actually going to be able to see that black print, so I get that paper to stick down. That first lot of paper was just to see through, so that was no good. So I'm going to use this bit. So I just basically rip up some pieces and stick it all down, and it's whilst I'm doing this that yeah, my phone does run out of battery, and so then I cut you, and I've done a bit off camera. So there we go. Here we are back again. I have cut out I've ripped out the pillowcase, and those bits are all covered up, and I am going to cover the entire bit of this with glue stick to glue down the pillowcase. I felt that worked better for it being on the inside. I liked the idea of it actually being properly stuck, and it doesn't matter with it being glue stick. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. I'm not after a perfect job. I'm after a that'll do job, really. So yeah. So we're gonna stick that down, give it a good rub there with my bone folder, and then it'll all be ready to be sewn on my sewing machine. I'm not going to bring the sewing machine on camera. I will do that off camera. So just flipping it over, I think I need to secure the bits down the end, otherwise that could go a little bit Pete-tong on the sewing machine. So just lightly do a little bit of glue down the edge so that I can sew it, because I'm gonna sew from the other side. Yeah, so I need to know that that's in place, otherwise that won't be very good. Okay, so I'm just going to take that to the sewing machine, and I'll bring it back to you when it is done. So there it is. I sewed all the way around the edges, and then I just went up either side of where I'd folded for the spine, and yeah, and then I used my pinking shears and went round the edges. So there we go. That's the signature there, holding it in place quite well. So I'm gonna do the sewing in of the signatures now. So I am just going to eyeball this because that's what I've decided to do. So there we go. Got my wax thread there, 3 times the height, and now I'm just going to get all the necessary to get it sewn in. I've got loads of videos on this, so I'm just going to do this quite quickly. Gonna just secure the top there with a bigger bulldog clip, which is a good idea, Jess, really. So I like to go opposite side, so it's like hold it in place. Then I'm going to take me awl, and if you slightly fold your book, you can get it on the crease of where you made for your spine. So that's what I'm doing, and then I'm going in from the inside, and then I take it top or bottom, it doesn't matter. Bring in the needle, and then you go back out through the center hole, making sure you don't split the cotton, and then back in at the bottom end, and then I just feed the thread underneath, and then you just go and tighten everything up, make sure it's all good and tight, and then we just do left over right, right over left there, and make a knot, and that is it. And that is my quick little journal ready to add makes that I do for collaborations. That's ready to be stuck down and made it into a pocket. Good enough, whatever. These are upside down, to be fair. Oh no, that is that way up. There we go. That is my quick journal. Okay, so I was going to leave it at that, and then I was on the phone last night to my friend, and I kept looking at it, and I'm thinking, actually, I want to finish it off. I was thinking I've got to take a photo, and it didn't look very pretty, so it's clearly not finished. So I sort of had a thought about finishing it off. It's got a lovely feel about it. So one of the things I like to do is add a nice sort of dressing table doily, and this one's a bit longer than I would put over a normal journal, but this is a bit taller than I would normally do, so I kind of got it out and I thought, oh yeah, actually it will fit, and so it gets me to be able to use one of these slightly taller ones, and I think that will look nice, and I can still see the lovely blue there underneath. And I grabbed some sari silk, and I thought that would look nice, sort of tied round as a nice sort of closure. So, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to put the sari silk on the inside or the outside. That was the decision I hadn't actually made. So let me now think about that. Can't decide if this is a wrong side or a right side. I think it's that way, Jez. I think it could be right. So I could do that. No, I'm going to go on the outside because that will be secured there. I don't want that. So yeah, there we go. Didn't take long for you to make that decision, Jess. Sometimes I can make a really quick decision. It would seem you can. Right, let me just put my glasses on because I want to doubly scrutinise this. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't really know. I don't really know. Right, so got a bit of fabric glue here. Oh, Jez. Ah, that spout bit, flippity flip, flip, flip. That's like, cool. Ah, there we go. Cool. I wasn't expecting that. Oh no, I've got that. Oh, let's not waste it, eh? Cool. That's about as much as you're going to get on, because otherwise you're going to get it everywhere. There we go. I'm gonna have to. Oh, great. There we are. You've got it off now. Stop moaning. Right. There we go. This is, well, it was cheap as chips when I bought it, but I did buy this, I think in 2020, from Boyes. Boyes. It's a cheapo. Could I be grand and call it a department store? Anybody that lives in Yorkshire has probably come across Boyes. And their craft department's a lot smaller than it ever was, but they are much cheaper than other places. And I think I paid something like £1.99 for this. I think I've seen this glue since, and it was more like £4, maybe £3.99. Still darn sight cheaper than Fabitac, and it don't go all thick and gloopy. I've got a bit of Fabitac, but it has gone very thick and gloopy, which makes it quite hard to use. And the thing about this is you kind of apply it and you can wait a little bit before you stick it down, which is quite good when you're dabbing little bits like I am around the doily. So I am, as ever, run out of time. I've got a few things to do before I go away, and you know when you think you've got loads of time and then all of a sudden all that time you thought you had is gone, and I'm at that stage now. I was going to do a load more videos to have going up whilst I'm away, but I haven't managed. So there's a couple. That's still a couple more than I was doing, so I don't think I'm doing bad for where I am at the moment. And I am very much enjoying what I'm doing. And you know, when I get stuck in and doing these things, I do manage to hold it together mostly. Whereas the rest of the time I'm just blooming crying. But you know, so many things make me cry. You know, people send me messages, emails, letters, saying lovely things about my lovely head, and then I just cry. People say about, oh wow, yeah, anyway, probably sick of me going on about it, sorry, but there we go. Right, now then, so I've got a centre there, so Stick that up like that. Trouble with this blooming one is a bit got, right, you know, it's got these, it's not flat, kind of what I'm trying to say. It's not flat, but the words evaded me. There we go. So now. I'm quite happy that I've been doing it. I mean, it's for me, and so I wasn't going for perfection. Not that I ever go for perfection, if I'm honest, but it is just like that. Quite like that. Right, and we've got a bit of this now. It's whether or not I want to stick this, or if I'm just gonna have it wrapped round and tied. I think I might wrap it round and tie. There's a bit of me that would prefer it to be a different colour, but I thought this one was too. What I really want is one in between. I want one darker than this, but lighter than that. So I'm not going to stick it because I don't know, I might tea dye this, make it a bit darker, but not as dark as this, and then I'll be happy. So if I don't actually glue the end, then it will be fine. And I might stick a charm. There. And that's so just gonna do a little bit of a knot there. So let's go left over right, right over left, and we'll do it again. Left over right, right over left. There we go. Move dangly down. And that's it. There we are. We've done it. So this is a quick little easy journal. I'm going to use this for collaboration projects, maybe if I do a Roxy's weekly challenge or something. So it sort of turns into a little bit of an ideas book, and I've always meant to make one of them, and I never have. So there we go. I hope that's given you a little bit of inspiration for just, if you've never made a journal, you know, to chuck one together. Did that in probably an hour and a half. I have edited this, but there we go. Nice, quick and easy. Old envelope. bit of fabric, some book pages and stuff. All right then. Hope you'll join me again soon. You've probably seen the Tracy Fox collaboration video, which I'm going to film now to stick in this. I would have probably mentioned it, and hopefully you've checked back to try this out. All right. And yeah, take care, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.